Welcome back to another WP-Tonic workshop. I've got my colleague here, Haroon. This is part of a series of training videos we're going to be doing about LearnDash, how to set up LearnDash, which is a superb learning management system, how to set it up if you're looking to make your first membership website. This is workshop number 3. It's probably going to be a series of 5 to 6 workshops. We've done 2 previous videos. I'll have the links to those videos in the notes that support this particular video. We start from the beginning and then we work up. This particular workshop is about how you can set up LearnDash with Elementor and an Elementor template that's suitable for membership with LearnDash, and get you up and running as quick as possible so you can customize the home page and some of the other key pages to your requirements. So Haroon, do you quickly want to introduce yourself to the viewers?
Certainly. Thank you, Jonathan. Hello, everyone. This is Haroon, and I consult for WP-Tonic regarding all things marketing, automation, e-learning, and other types of automations, e-commerce. So making everything work with each other, making your e-commerce setup work with your marketing automation and CRM setup, and adding a bit of e-learning system into it to make all of that work together. So I've had over a couple of decades of experience in the tech industry, around a decade and a half of experience in WordPress, and I have my own company by the name of Happy Cloud. Other than that, I consult for WP-Tonic.
Yeah, sure. And I'll have Haroon's LinkedIn link in the show notes as well, folks. But you can also consult Haroon through WP-Tonic. I'll make sure the links are there for you, folks. So, Haroon, where do we start on our 3rd video? You want to share your screen, your desktop screen,
yes,
and then we can go forth, Haroon. There we go. That's great. So let's get this.
So here we are in the WordPress dashboard, and we're just resuming from where we had left in our 2nd session. So if we go to pages, we've got a home page and a blog page and a privacy policy page. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to do today, is get rid of these 2 pages, the blog page and the home page. I'm just going to get rid of both of them. And you'll see shortly why I'm doing this. And I'm going to eliminate them from trash as well. I'm going to empty trash. And now let's go to templates under Elementor, and in templates you're going to see a kit library. So Elementor offers us not just page templates, but offers us entire site kits in a library where select a kit, import it, and we'll have that entire kit imported as a ready-to-use website on our WordPress installation. The reason why I deleted the home and blog pages, often these kits come with their own blog page, and pretty much all of them do come with their own home page. So if we are to use a kit as a starting point, it's best to just go with the pages that the kit creates first and then modify those pages or add new ones later as we need. So for this purpose, the kit that I'm going to go is one called, actually let's short list on the type of the kit. So I'm going to select education over here, and I've shortlisted this digital and technology design school. Now there's one little issue with these kits, that none of them are built specifically learning site. These are mostly brochure sites that only about the business, and maybe there are a few e-commerce sites because Elementor natively only supports brand e-commerce websites. It supports WooCommerce. Natively, Elementor doesn't have any specific support for LearnDash, but LearnDash does have its own Elementor add-on which we're going to use. But this template is going to serve a decent enough starting that we don't have to build everything from scratch. So let's click this kit. For some reason, we're getting an error. Let's go back and try that again. Yeah, let's go to templates and kit library. Education, and click this kit eye icon. If you click the eye icon, it will show you a demo of the kit, and it's pretty well designed. But this one is meant to be used for an academy's website offers courses offline. We're gonna have to modify it to our need, work with an online course website. So I'm gonna click apply kit now, and that's gonna import all of these pages, all of these assets. And here Elementor is asking if we want to override any styles and settings or content already on the site. Sure, because we have a pretty much blank site. We're gonna enable unfiltered uploads. We're just gonna basically follow and do whatever this kit setup wizard asks us to do. Remember, when you do this, make sure you have a blank site doing this, because otherwise, if you already have a site that has content, that content might get replaced by this kit's content. So you don't want that. It may take a little while to set up the kit for the first time. Okay, the kit is now live on our site, and we're going to close it here and close the kit library as well. And I'm going to go ahead and open the site. Sorry, not the admin part, the home page of the site. And here we have the it even has this really nice sort of a pop-up at the bottom for newsletter subscriptions. I'm going to close it for now. And there's a full page menu. For some reason, the logo hasn't yet loaded, but that's fine. It's probably a placeholder logo anyway. All right, so we have our kit. The grid over here for certain courses that this kit's website is supposed to offer. And we are going to try to replicate this grid using our own Elementor-based course grid. So let's get on with it. But first, before we do that, we might want to replicate our courses so that we have a bunch of courses to work with. So I'm not going to go ahead and create many courses. I'm just going to replicate the ones that we have. And to do that, let's first install another plugin. It's called Let's activate it. Now let's go to courses. And over here, we should have a copy option to duplicate it. Let's copy 5 times. And we're just gonna publish all of these copies by editing them and changing the status to published. And let's give them these names: UX design, web design, animation and 3D. So I'm gonna, quick edit, and let's call this UX design. Web design. Let's call UX design. Animation and 3D. Digital illustration. This one's taking its time. Come on. Okay. Wait. Where did it go? Let's refresh. Digital illustration, mobile app design. Ah, yes. And the last one would be development for designers. Okay. And I'm going to do for all of these. I'm gonna edit all of them. In fact, let me edit all of them in new tabs so that we can get that done quickly for all 6. So I'm opening all 6 of them for editing in a new tab. And I want to apply a different thumbnail to, so that we can have them display with the right thumbnail in the course grid that we're gonna build for them.
I've got a quick question, Haroon. Does LearnDash
Right.
provide any kind of dummy in a kind of JSON file? Do they provide any kind of dummy content that you can import? Do you know?
I think they used to, but when I last looked for it, I could just find some generic sort of results for that rather than any official learn.
It's frozen, folks.
It yesterday, and I couldn't really find it at a glance.
Right, yeah.
All right, so I'm quickly gonna because yeah, that would have saved us time, but then we would also want to make sure that everything according to our template that we're using. So for that reason, going this route, and we're gonna use these files. Oops, yeah, these files should be in the media library now because they have been imported in the site. Let me bring this tab over here. So I'm just these images for the course grid. So load more. We should have them somewhere around here. Yeah, I think this is the one. Yes. This should be the featured image for UX design. Next, the cassette tape is for web design. Let's update them as we go. Okay. We're gonna replace the image. Then there's this box for animation and 3D. Let's expand this for all of them to make it quick. Okay.
Yeah, and for those of you, what is featured image? Featured image is an element of WordPress terminology that's not generally used. And the reason why it is used is the history of WordPress, which started off as a blogging platform. And the feature image is when you go to a list of posts, you go to a lot of websites and they have a list of blogs, a blog page. Each new article is a post. Each post is a blog. Well, blog is the central place for all the posts. Each post has a featured image. And LearnDash, you're utilizing behind the curtain, you're utilizing for the lesson is actually a post, a custom. In WordPress talk, it's a custom post type. Which doesn't mean anything to you if you're new to WordPress. All you have to know is the specific layout of a lesson utilizes what is called in WordPress jingo a custom post type. And because it's a post, it utilizes the feature image, which is what Haroon is setting up. So when you have your grid view, which are all your lessons in a particular course, or it could be you have a course grid view in LearnDash, which lists all the courses. But if you only got one course, it would probably just list all the lessons. And this is what he's setting up at the present moment. I thought it would hopefully I haven't confused you, viewers. But I thought you needed to know that, because if you're not used to WordPress,
Yes.
you're probably wondering what the hell we are doing. Do you think that was useful, Haroon, or do you think I've confused them? No.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because in any listings, the default image that shows up for that listing is the featured image that you've set up for that particular content type. And the content type could be the default post, an e-commerce product in WooCommerce or Easy Digital Downloads, a course in LearnDash, you name it. It could be a podcast episode if you're using a podcasting plugin. All right. So one last thing that I'm going to do is just change this bit of text, or we can just leave the text, let the text be. Yeah, it will take more time. So we're text be, and we're going to jump right into the pages that have been created for us. So let's go back to pages now. And you're going to see that the home page and the blog page and many other pages have been set up for us now. So there's an about page, there's an app design course page, which is like one landing page example for a particular course. There's a contact page, there's a home page, there's an our courses page, and there's a privacy policy page that was already there. Let's edit the home page with Elementor. To do that, we're just going to we're going to hover over it and click edit with Elementor. I usually right click it and open it in a new tab so that I have this view open and accessible anytime. It's a personal choice. Elementor seems to have a very sweet time today, but here we have the what you see is what you editor open in Elementor, and over here is this grid that we saw right here that says UX design, web design, animation in 3D, digital illustration, mobile app design, and development for designers. We are going to get rid of this grid altogether. Elementor is still loading all of these assets. So when you build your site, you can add the content over here as you can edit any of these parts that have been created part of the kit as you please. You can get rid of anything that you don't want over here by clicking this close for that particular. Get rid of this entire section. What we're going to do is close or get rid of these subsections within this top level section, and these subsections are the ones that contain these elements. And now we are going to add a course grid over here, course list. So first I'm going to show you LearnDash's own way of adding content in Elementor. So LearnDash has some widgets available for Elementor. These are the widgets that you can add to your Elementor layout at any point and have data populated from within LearnDash. So we have a course list, topic list, and quiz list. Of course, lesson list, topic list, and quiz list would be relevant within a particular course. So there's no point in adding a lesson list over here directly when this page is the home page. You want the lesson list to be added to the course page, not the home page. We can add the course list over here by dragging and dropping widget wherever you want. And you're going to see it just adds a very plain looking list of all the 6 courses that we have. And this doesn't really scream out well designed, and there aren't any options to customize it as well. So to me, Elementor's default widgets are mostly not exactly useful unless I'm of design work using CSS for them. So what I'm going to use, Elementor has a posts widget, and while the name says posts, we can use it to display any content type. It doesn't have to be the default blog post content type. Drag and drop the post widget over here, and by default, it's showing blog posts that have been created for us through this Elementor kit that we imported. But in this query section, I'm going to expand it, and as the source, I'm going to select courses instead of the default posts. And as soon as I select courses, you see what it's done? It has already brought in the courses that we have created. And now we're going to tweak the layout a bit to try to make it look as close to this default that we had as possible. So this yellow background is not part of this image over here. They've included yellow background as a separate element, and we might not be able to quickly incorporate that. But trying to do that would take us into design territory. What you can do is just have the entire image as a single image, and it will show up as the thumbnail image for that particular. So over here it says the course title followed by some data that we may or may not want over here. So what we're going to do is firstly get rid of the excerpt, because we don't want this excerpt text showing over here as it's not part of this original design. You can choose to keep it. You can choose to change its font size, font color by going into this style section. And over here, you can style off pretty much anything in the design, layout, content of what we're dealing with over here. But for now, let me focus on the replication. So I'm going to get rid of this excerpt. And next, I am going to get rid of this date and comments part from metadata. We don't need date and comments over here. And I'm going to get rid of the read more link. And it's getting closer to what we have over here, except that we need to center the headlines. That we can do from the styles tab. We go to content, and over here, we can actually, we can just go to layer and center everything over here. Yes. And then we can go to content, and for the titles typography, we can choose some other font. We can choose a different size. We can choose the font weight, transform it to capitalization or all lowercase, change its style. You get the drift. Or we can just like this and see how things look on the front end. Before I do that, I'm going to go back to content once more and make sure that the image size over here is, let's see, sorry, the image ratio over ratio of the aspect ratio of the height width. I want it to be 1. I want, because these images are more square in general. So I'm going to keep it to 1. And I might want to use the thumbnail size. Let's see, how does that fare? That might be a bit too small. No, see, the images have started to blur. So I'm going to use medium. And image width, instead of making it 100%, I'm going to make it 80%. That's more like it. And I'll update it. I probably want to change the title HTML tag from H3 to, sorry, the title style. I'm going to go to content and change the title style to, instead of 40 pixel, I'm going to make it 24 pixel or maybe 32 pixels. So while we don't have the yellow blob background over here, the rest is pretty much shaping up, as you can see. And this is not very refined yet, but this is just to give you a starting point, because again, this isn't a. Now I'm going to refresh this. And here you can see that we now have our grid that we just created and refine it to look exactly the way the other one was looking. In fact, one last thing. And under image, let's see if I can add a background image. No, I'd probably have to do it. We don't need to do that right now. So now if I click on any of these, it's going to take us to that particular course view. And here we have the web design. We don't really have any content in here. I'm going to actually open the first course that I had created, the one that I had called the WordPress course initially, which we renamed to UX design, because that one actually had lessons and topics. So you see, this view isn't looking great because Elementor hasn't provided us with a template to showcase this view the way we want. What we can do is create another template using Elementor, apply that template to a course, but that will take us into of learning how to build advanced custom post type layouts without, is again going to be out of the scope of this particular lesson. But we can maybe, Jonathan, what do you think? Should we cover a lesson on how to build a complete single course view layout using Elementor? There's demand, or are there enough Elementor based resources out there for our audience to be able to figure that out?
Well, I think we could probably do a workshop at the end about that, because that is advanced, isn't it? I think depending on how are we doing, we've probably got another 10 minutes. I think just showing the layout of how you add a video, maybe to a lesson, and some written content. And then I don't know if we'll have time about the login. I think probably not. We'll probably just keep this to what the course grid looks, which we've covered. Now let's have a look at a lesson and some of the options around a lesson. And I think that'd be enough for today. And then probably the next workshop, we will cover the login, customizing the student dashboard, and maybe some about how you set up payment in LearnDash, because that is the point of the membership. So I think that's what we'll be covering in the next lesson: the login, the student dashboard, and how you take a payment. How does that sound?
Yeah. Sounds good. But we've already covered a few things that you mentioned. We've already covered how to create a lesson, how to add text to the lesson, how to add to the lesson. So that's something that we covered in the entire course creation session that we went through already. So I think because this looks ugly and the course view looked ugly as well. So I think we should have one lesson dedicated to making this just good enough, so that at least it doesn't look ugly. And that's going to take at least one lesson dedicated for that. And then the next lesson could be about setting up a login and account dashboard page for the users. So we've got these two key elements left, and yes, payments. So maybe we have 2 to 3 more sessions to go, one for the design part, because today's lesson covered a lot of things in terms of design, but they're still making the course, what site is built around, making that look good. So yeah, one session for that, and then 1 or 2 sessions for the login page, the student dashboard page, and the payments page.
Yeah. So the next workshop, folks, I think we're going to finish off here. But the next workshop, which is coming up next Tuesday, we're going to be covering how you customize this and make it look good. And like Haroon said, the next workshop next month after that, we're going to the login, the student dashboard, and how you take payment. And then after that, we're probably going to WooCommerce. And then the last one is a Robin, where we just cover all the loose ends. If you've got any questions that you want us to comment.
Sorry. One more thing. Yeah, we have also got to cover the memberships aspect.
Yeah, so I thought that's what we do in not the next workshop, but the one after that. We cover the login, the student dashboard, and the membership. The native
membership as in restrictions and all of that, not just for courses, but for other parts of content on the site as well, including pages, including blog.
Whatever you want. We're trying to keep this focus, folks, because there's a lot of aspects to this, and this is an introduction to get you going. I think what we've shown here with using Elementor and one of their template kits, you can get up and running pretty quickly. And then in the other workshops, we show you like the things we've just discussed. So you have a resource that you can go back to and get up and running as quick as possible. We'll see you next Tuesday at around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.
Goodbye.